Is it ever that serious? Sprite animations are some of my favourite things to ever grace the YouTube platform ever since I discovered them as a kid, even though I've kinda grown out of watching them now. I think this is one of the most underrated animation styles to exist, purely because if you weren't an internet kid, you've probably never gotten into these. Let me guess, if you're familiar with these, you had unrestricted internet access as a kid, and you're probably a fan of one of these two franchises. One day you went onto YouTube, or fucking remember Newgrounds, and saw one of these animations and kept watching more and more. So, for the people who weren't chronically online like me, let me explain what a sprite animation actually is. The anime for gaming nerds. Sprites are basically each frame of a character's animation from the 2D pixel art style of gaming. Look at Sonic standing over here, this would be a sprite. Now a sprite animation is basically switching between sprites to show motion or an action like you do in a game. This is exactly how older games worked. You're essentially controlling a square with a bunch of pictures on top constantly changing. Now this animation style is far from easy to do, but it is easier than traditional hand-drawn animation. The style being slightly easier is what allows smaller teams or even solo animators to create projects like these on YouTube, which I'll be going over today. And there's no better place to start than probably the most iconic of these, Super Mario Bros. Z. This is the big one I'm sure 90% of you have at least heard of at some point. Super Mario Bros. Z was created by Alvin Earthworm and takes characters from Mario and Sonic and places them in a very Dragon Ball inspired plot. The story is very fucked up. Basically everyone in Sonic's world other than Sonic, Shadow and Eggman is dead, deceased, gone, like not even Cream was spared. All of this killing came from the hands of none other than yeah, in game this nigga's a fraud, but in this verse he's basically Mecha Broly. So the story revolves entirely around the Chaos Emeralds and finding them. Mario's group needs to find the Chaos Emeralds before Mecha Sonic does, and this wild goose chase leads them to several different places in the world. Like look at this fight here, Mecha Sonic is absolutely victimizing Yoshi, like this has to be some type of animal abuse, right? Then after that there's literal Yoshi slavery. Do you have a problem with Yoshi, my brother? Anyways, this series holds possibly the most iconic fight in this little space of YouTube. You know exactly what I'm talking about, the tag team fight. Even if this fight is old, it's one of the coolest and most entertaining fights I've ever seen. You got this cool ass sequence in the sky where everyone is fighting each other. Then you got Mario and Luigi fighting all the Koopas through different set pieces. You got Sonic and Shadow both running away from this death spinner thingamabob. Like the back and forth action from this scene is insane. The way this animation manages to show all this fighting without being overwhelming is the coolest thing ever. And there's more, seriously this series has so many good fight scenes. One of my favorites is the Mecha Sonic one underground with this cool part of Sonic avoiding gunfire. And then there's this light speed section where they're going so fast that they stop time and continue fighting as well. Like this is just some cool ass shit, man. Another one of my favorites is this entire airship scene, honestly. Like if you had a Sonic childhood, you know exactly what scene I'm about to show. He did not need to go this hard for a fight scene, bro. Like the whole concept of Fire Sonic and the way he absolutely shreds these enemies is insane. Couple that with the way that him and the rest of the group juggle Luigi while comboing, like you did not need to go this hard, my brother. The fact that animators can create animations this smooth and coordinated on their own is insane. Like imagine what a big studio could do with this style. And I need to remind you guys, this is 15 years old. If something like this was able to be made 15 years ago, just imagine what we could make now. Maple Riot is a channel that's been creating sprite animations for quite some time as well, but I want to focus on one of their more recent projects, Sonic.exe Retribution. Now what makes this one special for me is even though I don't like Sonic.exe that much, the 3D implementation on these animations is insane. So obviously since sprites are 2D objects, incorporating 3D requires a lot of time and skill to do. The animation is quite short, but the style, storytelling and action is on another level. So these animations tell a short story in the world of Sonic.exe. Oh yeah, if you don't know what Sonic.exe is, the edgy Sonic blood, gore, demons, killing an 8-year-old fox for the 80th time, you're not missing out on anything really. At least in these animations, some type of actual story is being told instead of just gore everywhere. Like I said before, the storytelling in this is actually good. Essentially, EXE is an entity that's taken over Sonic and is causing havoc across the world. What I want to highlight specifically is the interactions. All the dialogue is super snappy and moves the story along. The stylistic choices of flashing between memories and the real world is really unique and cool, especially the scenes with Sonic. And all of this amazing storytelling is elevated by the action despite it being very short. See, Tails actually put up a fight instead of bending over for a puddle. He actually uses his gadgets to blow Sonic's face off, Jesus Christ, and he actually uses his flight and his IQ to escape. The Knuckles fight you've probably seen on TikTok at some point. These two keep working each other for a while and then Metal Sonic spawns, disses Knuckles and then proceeds to fight Sonic, leading to one of the coolest sequences ever. This is what I mean, the way this creator is able to implement perspective into these fights is insane. Good stuff, Maple Riot. This reminds me, there's another recent project that I stumbled across that is also amazingly animated. Sonic the Dark Form is a really short mini-series created by Franco Animations with some of the cleanest fights and animation I've ever seen. This series tones down the spectacle for more grounded but insanely smooth and coordinated action. That look at the fucking pose that this nigga hits. The animation quality on these ones is insane, and on top of that the creator adds many references, like if you get this one, you're a real one. The story is really simple too, like it feels like a story that would just be in a Sonic game, if that makes sense. Honestly, just check this guy out, he's far too underrated and deserves way more love. Anyways, now I want to point out a project that I think I've watched at least 600 times since I was a child. This animation carried my childhood so hard. So basically, this animation focuses on both Dragon Ball and Sonic, which means my virgin radar is going off the charts. The plot for this one is very fast paced and simple. Basically, Son Gork, Vegetable and Broccoli are sent into the Sonic world along with the Dragon Balls. Being in the Sonic world shrinks Goku and Vegeta's appearance and power, and by proxy Broly's too, allowing them to be equal to the Sonic characters. Even though I'm pretty sure Sonic is just stronger than Goku, I'm not a power scaler though, don't come at me. The plot from here shows all of these characters split into two groups, one in search of the Chaos Emeralds and one in search of the Dragon Balls. Along the way, other foes show up too, like Mecha Sonic. I want to shout out this fight scene specifically because it has Bleach music in the background. Mecha Sonic is on the hunt for the Chaos Emeralds to gain more power. Eggman is here too, doing his typical mischief, but he kinda disappears after this fight around halfway through. The main villain though is Broly. This guy is a straight menace in this. This man can hold off Sonic and Goku without even being serious in this fight. It's insane. One of my favorite fights from this is the Ice Cap sequence where Sonic and the gang are fighting Broly, coupled with this cool snowboarding section. And then along with all of that, Goku and Broly are fighting in the background, and Sonic and Co try and jump in, but they do zero damage at all. Sonic is a whole fraud in this animation, bro. The last third of this story is insane too, with Broku, I was about to say Broku, with Broly killing Sonic and Shadow, then proceeding to absolutely waste Mecha Sonic too. He even forces Goku and Vegeta to fuse into Gogeta, and it looks like they have the upper hand for a minute, but nope, Master Emerald. And then I can't make this up, Sonic and Shadow are revealed to be alive and start transforming while Kanye West is playing in the background. What the fuck? I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining, but you don't expect to hear Kanye West in a Sprite animation. Oh yeah, another cool thing about this animation is it's fully voice acted from start to finish. The voice acting isn't even bad, it's just a bit low quality since you know this animation is very old. Also, it's based on Sonic, so the bad sound mixing is gonna be there, you can't escape it. Talk your shit, twin. Anyways, all jokes aside, I really love this animation. It carried my entire childhood, and having actual Dragon Ball characters here as well was amazing. Speaking of Dragon Ball, Hyourinjutsu, this guy is insane. Hyourinjutsu has been creating mainly Dragon Ball animations for quite a while, but he's got some others in there too, like JoJo's. His most popular series by far is the Dragon Ball What If series, taking characters from the franchise and putting them in what if scenarios. These are some of my favorite animations of all time, mainly because of all the really good storytelling and references. My personal favorite episode is Ultra Instinct vs Ultra Ego because it highlights the parallels of Beerus and Whis' teachings and the style and character of Goku and Vegeta at this point in the series. This entire fight is really good, but if you're a fan of this franchise, this one section over here, oh my... It's little things like this that make me love fan animations and stuff with actual passion put into them. Also, props to this animation, the creator actually lets Vegeta win a fight. Another one of my favorite animations is GT Goku versus Super Goku, showing how these characters would measure up against each other in a fight. What I really like is how he shows how these different forms work, like GT Goku's Super Saiyan being able to match up with Super Saiyan God because of how GT Goku has mastered the form's raw strength due to his tail. The way both of these Gokus interact is interesting as well, with GT Goku basically flaming Super Goku for ditching his Saiyan roots and trying to imitate the gods. See, this animation teaches you something. Be yourself, don't ride others. The ending of the fight is cool. GT Goku wins, but by a very small amount due to him being able to keep himself in the fight longer since Super Saiyan Blue has more drawbacks but is stronger. This was a really cool fight and a really cool dynamic overall. The last thing I want to highlight is a mini-series within the What If series itself. Along with creating the normal What Ifs, Hyourin's been making his own little timeline focused on Goku Black and his goal of wiping out all mortals in different timelines. His journey sees him fight future Gohan, Vegeta with Super Saiyan God, Broly with Super Saiyan 4, bloody hell. This fight actually causes him to fuse with baby Vegeta. And now with his fusion, he goes to challenge Beerus himself. All of these fights are really good, but I want to quickly go over the Beerus fight. This fight specifically is really interesting to me because we actually get to see Beerus do something. I like how the power dynamic constantly shifts in this fight. Like when Vegito activates Kaioken, you see Beerus actually get shook for a moment. Like Vegito actually manages to surpass Beerus for a moment, but then we get to see the cunning side of Beerus as he figures out his little trick and actually gains the upper hand again. This is the shit I like. And then of course to end it off, Beerus just erases Goku Black from existence. Anyways, this entire channel was amazing. I recommend you go check him out. He deserves way more than just 350k. Actually, there's just so many sprite animators that are amazing, like Space P, Dead Graphic, and many more, but now I want to focus on a different side of sprite animations. Remember Sonic for Hire?
Oh my god!
Yeah, nah, never mind, that's enough internet for today.